up guys, it is me Matt coming to you with a new video, and today I'm going to be reviewing Eluveitie's new album Ategnatos that was released today. So yeah, they released 3 singles for this. Ategnatos, the obviously the album's title, Ambiramus, and Rebirth. So let's get into the first track, which is Ategnatos. Now it starts off like pretty slow, some spoken word intro and a Rebirth reprise at the beginning. I think it's a flute. The Rebirth thing is in like intro is sort of like, I don't know. I'm really tired, so like yeah. But still, it sort of kicks in towards like the end. It's got a really good, really good riff, and Shridgel's vocals alongside Fabienne's are really fucking good. So now I'm gonna move on to the second track of Encus. Okay, so that was just 11 seconds of spoken word by Fabienne, I think. I'm not sure, but like, yeah. Now we move on to the second track, which is also 4 minutes and 53 seconds. Technically the second track, but third track overall, of Deathwalker. Okay, so Deathwalker sort of has, obviously the combination of Fabienne's vocals and Shridgel's vocals, still quite heavy, got a good riff to it, got a good use of the hurdy-gurdy alongside flute, violin, you know, all the sort of instruments you would hear them use in their albums, but obviously this one a little heavier than Ategnatos. So we're going to move on to the fourth track overall, Blackwater Down. So this Blackwater Down, it is heavier. No, it is quite a heavy song, but obviously not as heavy as Ategnatos or Deathwalker. Still, it's got a sort of like a really folky sort of intro with the flute and the violin, and then it sort of gets heavier. It's obviously got a good riff to it as well. But we're now going to move on to the the fifth track of A Cry in the Wilderness. Okay, so A Cry in the Wilderness sort of kicks in quite heavy. There's a bit of a blast beat to it. There's a bit of a blast beat to it. There's a guitar riff. There's a use of violin, flute, and other folk instruments. Obviously, then we get a blast of Shridgel's vocals, and like, man, quite good. Signature Eluveitie here in this song. So I'm now going to move on to the sixth track, which is The Ravenhill. So, fucking the sixth track of the album, The Ravenhill, obviously sounds a lot gloomier than the last few. Still, joint effort of Fabienne and Shridgel's vocals, and even though it's a lot gloomier, it's still pretty sick. So now we're going to move on to the next few tracks. The Silver Glow, Ambiramus, which is Mine is the Fury, and the rest of them. There's 16 songs on this album to go through. So now we move on to the Silver Glow. So the Silver Glow is pretty much just another opener for Ambiramus, and I've heard Ambiramus a few times. I haven't listened to Rebirth that much, but Ategnatos this that much. But Amaramus is my favourite song on this album at the moment. It's my favourite song on the album at the moment. It's got a really, really upbeat. It's really, really upbeat. Fabienne is like the most prominent on the song. There's a good use of all the folk metal instruments as well. Very, very upbeat. Very, very upbeat song. So now we're going to move on to Mine is the Fury. Okay, so Mine is the Fury, 3 minutes and 33 seconds. It is pure kicks in and Shrigel holds no bounds. It's just pure heavy. Good riff, some blast beats, folk metal instruments are still on this, obviously, but like it's more prominent, it's more like metal. So this is one of the heaviest songs I've heard on this album so far. But yeah, it just goes all in and it's really good. So we're moving on to the next track of this track is sort of like Ategnatos in the beginning. Obviously, it's not spoken word. It's not spoken word. It's sort of like very acoustic, and then it kicks in sort of towards the middle of the song. It's like another track Fabienne. Fabienne's vocals are more prominent on. So yeah, a pretty sick track, to be fair, even though it's sort of like doesn't kick in until about 2 minutes 15 seconds, till like half the song pretty much. Excuse me. So now we move on to the next track, Worship. Okay, so I take back Mine is the Fury being the heaviest song. Worship, oh my god, it's just flat out attack in blast beats, riff, fucking sort of like a really gloomy overtone to it. Just goes straight in. Like it doesn't hold any bounds. It's just straight up folk metal attack. 5 minutes 34 seconds, still pretty fucking baggy song. Just straight in, riff, vocals, blast beats, everything. And now we move on to the final 5 tracks. We move on to track number, I don't know, but it's Trinoction, but it, so let's go. Sort of like, it was just another 1 minute, it was just another sort of like an opener, mini, sort of like down-tuned, very gloomy than the other two sort of opening, little, like, preludes. So we're moving on to Threehold Death. So, Threehold Death, very, very gloomy few-second intro, then just kicks in and it's just all out. Includes blast beats, includes a lot of harsh vocals as well. Very sort of like a weird arrangement of the instruments, but like, still pretty heavy song. Don't know what to say. Still another heavy track, another really heavy track, just straight in. Very gloomy overall tone to the song as well. So yeah, next track. Okay, so Breathe. Mad heavy track. Like, holy shit. Well, it's sort of like, it's heavy. It's got sort of like a metalcore-ish riff to it. It's not the heaviest, but like still pretty good, really good arrangement of like all the instruments. Good combination of Shrigel and Fabienne's vocals again. And then we have Rebirth. Rebirth is one of the heaviest tracks on this album, if not the heaviest track on this album. 2 sets of guitar solos. Pretty sort of like a good sort of like mix of Shrigel going in with his harsh vocal technique, and then Fabienne with the sort of like clean vocals. Overall, just a really strong ass song, and it was a good opener and a good single to release, sort of giving us like a whole idea what they were teasing in the beginning. So I'm going to move on to the final track of this album, Eclipse. So Eclipse was pretty much just a really sort of gloomy overall end to what was Ategnatos. Overall, this album was just pretty good. I mean, it's sort of, especially since it's like with the new, newer members, since Anna and a few of the others left back in 2016, 2017. Fabienne does a wonderful good. Her voice is more sort of operatic, if that makes any sense. It's more opera, sort of, like, it's very powerful, but, like, yeah, still, this is just a mix mash of sort of, like, newer, what Eluveitie are capable of, and sort of like a throwback to some of their older stuff. I really enjoyed this album, honestly. Really enjoyed this album. It was released today as well, so, like, you know, I recommend you go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go listen to it. Big up Eluveitie. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. If you want to see more album reviews, comment down below what you'd like to see. I'll see you guys very soon. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.